And as we were saying, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the presidents of Guyana, Irfaan Ali, and Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, had their first face-to-face meeting convened by other nations of the region to resolve the territorial dispute over the Essequibo. Let's hear what our correspondent Gladys Quesada has to say about it.
Precisely on December 14th, around 10 a.m., the presidents of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro and Irfaan Ali of Guyana, arrived in St. Vincent and the Grenadines to have a first dialogue, a first face-to-face meeting convened by nations allied of both countries as CARICOM and a regional bloc, and also CELAC as other regional bloc. It's paramount to say that this meeting was also held under the goodwill of the authorities of Honduras, Dominica, Cuba, and Brazil, that also was one of the main countries that gave the auspice for these dialogues to be held. Also, in the morning time, the president of Guyana had a meeting with CARICOM leaders when they discussed the agenda of the government of Guyana, and also they heard the part or the side of Guyana and what they had to say about this controversy over the Essequibo region. Also, as we know, the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, also held a meeting with CARICOM leaders, and afterwards both presidents had a face-to-face encounter. It's paramount also to say that in this occasion both presidents held dialogues in a respectful manner, and also the president of Venezuela presented to the president of Guyana all the evidence that sustained the case of Venezuela and why Venezuela has a historical position over the Essequibo region, and also how Venezuela intends or proposes to solve the dispute in an equitable manner. That's one of the premises that Venezuela had coming to these dialogues, is that they have to find an equitable solution that is sufficient and also is good for both parts, and also that both parts observe in a good way. So regarding these dialogues, regarding this day, they had another meeting, the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, with the CARICOM leaders, and afterwards the prime minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, also the pro-tempore president of CARICOM, and the one that have all the information regarding these dialogues and what is hosted there. He gave his opinions and also offered the final statement. One of the main statements in this occasion is the point number 2 in the declaration, and that is about how Venezuela and Guyana must abide by the Geneva Agreement and how they must find equitable solutions.
2. Agreed that any controversies between the two states will be resolved in accordance with international law, including the Geneva Agreement dated February 17, 1966.
So afterwards, this final statement, this final declaration of this meeting, one of the main points also is that the parts must reunite and rejoin in another meeting in 3 months in Brazil, is the chosen venue for the next talks. And also they said that no one of the parts must escalate actions against the other and maintain peace in the region. That's the premise of this meeting, the peace. After the meeting and upon arrival in Venezuela, the president of that nation, Nicolas Maduro, also offered statements to the press and said the next.
Creo que ha sido una victoria.
I believe it has been a victory for dialogue, diplomacy, and peace. And it has been a victory for our people who love peace,
que ama la paz, que cree en la verdad,
who believe in the truth, and who are always ready to defend it. I thank all the ministers and presidents present. And in the coming days, we'll be working to consolidate this step we have taken. We have taken a historic step, a giant step,
para retomar el camino de la legalidad,
to return to the path of legality, dialogue, and peace.
So this is the highlights, the main points of this day when Venezuela and Guyana had a seat together at the table with CARICOM and CELAC and other goodwill and beneficial people that went there and leaders of the region that went there to give their auspice and the goodwill for these talks. This is one step, the first step to solve this territorial dispute and to find equitable solutions and to find an end to this dispute. Gladys Quesada, Caracas, Venezuela.